It is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I'm going to guide you step by step through this really cheerful mimosa painting, which I'm so excited you guys are excited about. Right now this is a live class, but if you're coming on the replay, hi, I am always so happy to have you here too. And on the mic today is my effervescent and sweet husband, John.
Hello, how you guys doing?
He follows me with the cameras.
I try.
It's our game.
it's a little hide and seek we play every Tuesday and Thursday.
Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
On Saturday.
You forget how much we work.
And some other days too.
And a bunch more this week. I love how I throw a new lesson up there. They're like, she's being sneaky. She's up to stuff. So hopefully you guys are excited about doing this. This is a really fun introduction to some concepts about glass. So I love putting some really intense art concepts in a really fun, easy process with which we can do. And there's this light where I can't put, okay, there it is. All right, because you got to see what I'm going to be able to paint. I like to hide information in the description. That's always one of my favorite places to do it. And I'm sure for this one we'll be putting, like, as the video goes on, traceables and finished pictures and all of that in there. Now I have a blank, which I like to do pre-tracing, where I have a blank pre-gessoed canvas that I get at Michael's. Yeah. And I don't get them because they're like the best canvases ever. It's just that they're in a 5-pack and they're super cheap. That's what it is. You know, you could paint on canvas board. You could paint on a beautiful Frederick's canvas. I got a pop. There's a little pop here, which I got to fix later. And so that's just where I get them. I'm painting with acrylic paint. Mm-hmm. So I'm painting the brands Liquitex and Golden and Academy today. So that's some pro paints and one mid-grade paint. You can paint this in any acrylic paint that you want, and we'll have lots of tips for that. The palette today I'm kind of excited about because it's such a simple palette. Can we show them the palette?
Oh, yeah, we can.
All right. So the palette today is yellow ochre, sometimes also called yellow oxide. This is Cad yellow medium, Cad red medium, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and titanium white. That's a very simple palette.
Yeah.
But we're going to do a lot with that simple palette. And sometimes it's fun to paint a piece in a simple palette. And hopefully you're going to find that fun too, because I'm really excited to share that with you today. And I'm going to be painting with acrylic brushes. These are just synthetic brushes. These are Simply Simmons here. Mm-hmm. I have Creative Mark, which I love, and I have Simply Simmons. Simply Simmons is $2.49 per brush at Texas Art Supply. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily the most expensive brush that you go out and get that gives you a good result. Can't wait to cover that in the brush quest. Mm-hmm. And we have wishes, don't we?
Oh my gosh, we have so many wishes.
I texted you some wishes. Do you have those?
I have those.
Yay, we'll have to put those in. We love to put wishes in our canvas.
I have to read all those. Yeah, so we have all these wishes ready. So we definitely have a wish for one of our community out there, Bonnie. We need her wish for her to feel better.
Yes. All right. Bonnie, feel better.
We have the wish here from that you had texted me.
Yeah.
And it's for Wendy.
Okay.
And I'm just scanning through here because it said that this was shared privately.
Yeah, she did, but she wanted us to put the wish on there. Was this the wish for love and joy in her relationship?
Yes.
So we're wishing love and joy and peace in Wendy's relationship. And as a married person, I know we all wish for that all the time because that's so important in the marriage. And it's one of those kind of wave and ebbing things up and down. So we're going to wish for a wave of happiness and peace.
Yes.
For Wendy. Because we all love that in our relationships.
Yep. And a lot of our community are wanting to send wishes out there to David Bowie and Glenn Frey's families.
Yes, love to David Bowie and Glenn Frey's family.
And it looks like we have a lot of insomnia in our community right now. We're gonna have to send some
Wishes
wish
for sleep?
for some ease of sleep
Ease of sleep.
and
to
safe travels.
sleep and safe travels.
And a wish for Dottie's kidneys.
Oh, I definitely, whatever wishing, I wish good things for kittens always.
No, kidneys.
Oh, well, that was.
Yeah. My
Also
misenunciation.
kidneys.
Kittens and kidneys, both really good.
We want both to be really
Kidneys,
good. We
yeah.
wish for Dottie's kidneys,
Yeah, we
definitely.
Definitely want to get Dottie's kidneys.
I have a wish.
Oh, you do?
I wish that my website starts working.
I think that's a good way to slip in there. Just
I wish for good energy starting to come in, this heart party energy into our website.
yeah.
After the show, we're going to come on and talk a little bit about the website and the quest and some viewer mail. So if you guys can join us, that's a good idea. Great website.
And the last one I'd like to slip in there is that we've got a wish out there for some husbands and partners to get jobs. And, all those those who are out there doing testing for those commercial driver's license or permits or OSHA or whatever those certificates are. We know that those are kind of tough. So we wish you the best in studying for those and prepping and getting that work. So.
And if you see a wish that really speaks to you, you can put somebody else's wish on your canvas.
Yeah.
If you have a wish for yourself, well, you deserve that, and you can put that in your canvas. You can put them on the front. I always use watercolor pencil because it'll disappear into the paint. You could use kids' chalk if it was a really light color. But if it's a very important wish, if it's one you need to be able to really see and feel, you can always put it on the back of your stretcher bars. And I just love that process. But if you're coming up on the replay, you could have fast forwarded through that, and that would be okay. So the thing I'm going to draw in before I start painting is my wine bottle, my champagne bottle.
No.
So I'm going to use my measuring ruler here, which is also my T-square for my quest, and I'm going to make a little mark about exactly 5 inches up.
Now, I see you sketched that in already.
Yes, I did. And I'm going to make a little mark about 4 inches over. The reason I sketch in some things before I see you guys is not that I'm being tricky or shady. It's that my mom and I and all the art teachers have found when we're talking and doing certain art tasks, there's this thing I like to call it slippage, where things get a little, and I'm like, what? Because you got to do all this stuff. So if I anchor certain things that I know will do that, then I can explain how I drew them in and not mess you guys up with slippage.
Yeah.
Things I've learned over the course of time. So 4 inches in, I'm going to make a mark right here.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm going to draw a very, very, very soft line across. Right? Soft line across.
Why don't you pull the close-up camera in there a little bit?
You want to see that on the close-up camera?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not switching to it, so I can't see. Switch to it, then I can see.
There you go.
I don't know. And then I'm going to use my T-square to just guide myself. Well, I did already. A little line up the middle from that mark. See if I can darken that up a bit. And then I do it from the top. Now, I have one T-square that's long enough to do this whole canvas, but this one's a little bit short. All right? So I've just got that there. I just need to know, I want it to, the trick with a bottle, and this will be on the wine glass too, we'll actually use this guy again, or some edge to straighten it, is just keeping some lines straight. Now, about, let's see if I can get the exact measurement, about 7 inches up from the bottom of what is going to be your wine glass, make a little mark. And then from the top of your canvas, it looks like to about 1.5 inches down, that can be the top of your bottle. If you don't have a measuring device, it's about 2 fingers here and an open hand down here. You're just trying to place your bottle where you've got space around it, right? The bottle really is actually a pretty easy, mellow thing to draw. I'm going to make a 4-inch wide T here. So I actually first have this line down here, right? The one you saw me draw here.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to explain this because once you understand how to draw the bottles, then you can do all kinds of bottles. So I have this little line here, 4 inches. This little line here, 4 inches. This vertical line that stops 1.5 inches from the top. And this bottom line that starts about 5 from the bottom. When I have these lines, they help guide the arc of what I'm drawing in out. So I know I've got about, a cap is going to be about 1 inch at the top, and I like to round it. I take it out and then I curve in, and I like to curve in like a waistline almost, and then come out to where that 4-inch space is on my bottle. That's how I get a shoulder. It's just my weird trick to get a shoulder, and I like it. Because your wine bottle needs some shoulders. Your wine bottle has a figure. Curves in, curves out to that shoulder, that 4 inches. And that also helps my wine bottle be the same width on this side as it is on this side. Which is, these are the little optical things that just help us. And here at the bottom, since I know this, I mean, we're pretending there's a bottle here. The champagne bottles pretend. But we need to make it feel like it exists in the world. So we're going to just take the time to just do like a little smile at the bottom. Can you guys see that smile?
Yeah.
That smile rounds it out. And so when we paint it and add a shadow, this will start to feel really, really round. Right? And we'll match that here, and we'll make, this is great because once we have this square and we can draw this great label in, it's super fun once we have this in. Now the easy part, this next part, where did I put my happy brush? I had my happy brush out. I don't know what I did with it. Do you guys like watching me look for my happy brush?
Well, I tell you what.
That's okay, because I can just grab this other brush. There it is.
We're gonna, and if you could, we had a bunch of little requests, and
oh,
if you
happy
could just,
to.
if you could squeeze right there on that line, on that wine bottle, where that we have a wish for wellness for a little girl named Jessica.
Oh yes.
And she's she needs that wish.
Ah, Jessica, I wish you health and wellness and all the light, love, and energy just to go right into you. That's what I wish for you.
So, all right, did you find your brush?
I did.
Okay, good.
Oh, I also wanted to say hi. We're going to say hi again in another video, but I wanted to say hi to another little brush, Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
That's right. You guys will see Dylan again soon.
You will. You will, because we're going to tell the story of meeting people from the community. So I'm going to just moisten my brush a little bit, not a lot. One of the things about my brushes is they don't pull in too much water. So when I say damp, it actually is just really damp. I just dip it in the water. It pulls in just enough water to be damp. And I'm going to get my pure yellow ochre, yellow oxide, and I'm just going to paint the entire canvas except my wine bottle in a nice even coating of this. So this is probably the most relaxing paint thing we've ever done for that kind of space. Right? And I paint on the edge here. See how I get my brush on the edge when I want to have a thinner line that's crisp? This is a bright that I'm painting with, a number 10 bright by Simply Simmons. It's about 1 inch wide, and it has this nice edge, and the bind on the bristles is very tight. And I'm just going to paint this in. Now, one of the nice things this brush does for me, because the bind on the bristles is very tight, is I can really get paint into the canvas. So it's not giving me, I don't know if the close-up camera. So see here, like where I can have like a lot of the white showing through?
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways that can happen to me. That I don't have enough fluidity to my paint, right? Like my paint is dry, or I'm dry brushing. I can add some water to my paint to improve the fluidity to my paint. I can add some more paint to my brush to improve the fluidity of my paint. But if I'm seeing that, it's not that something is wrong with me. It's that I'm not getting enough paint onto the canvas. Now, can you guys see the bead?
Where are you at? But pull back.
I don't know where I'm at. Woohoo! Can you guys see that bead?
Yeah.
I like to call that's the bead, and that's why it's important to have a stiff brush, because I can pull that bead onto my brush, and that is how I'm able to dispense a nice amount of paint onto the canvas. I don't know if I've really covered that before, but I'm starting to want to get more into even those kinds of details when I'm talking about how we get these paintings in. Because at the end of the day, we just want the paint to go on this canvas, and we want to relax and chill out, don't we, John?
We do indeed.
I really wish I had some of the sippy today.
You know, I could go sneak in there.
It's 11 in the morning, John.
Oh. You know what? Not in the replay.
Not in the replay. Yeah, but I have to do we've got a
We
lot
have
of painting going on this
we have
week, like a
so much.
lot.
We do. We have so much.
We've got to be sharp.
You know, it's really pretty. Is the yellow ochre as it has, where you dipped your brush in the water there.
Yeah.
The little 3-dimensional swirl that it's created in the brush
Oh,
over
isn't
there.
that gorge?
It's really pretty.
You know you're in an artistic space when you start noticing how things disperse in your water going, that's lovely. How would I paint that? How would I do that? So I wonder who's excited about learning how the basics of kind of glass. How we paint things that are see-through.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's exciting today. And it's so easy.
So Bonnie was curious why you aren't using a larger brush when painting your background in.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually use a larger brush. And it will paint the background much faster. And if you have a larger brush, I wholly recommend it. And I do sometimes when I'm really in a hustle. But a couple of things happen. One, everybody at home feels they need to be painting with a larger brush. And two, it's a lot of work on the rinse out.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like working now, working later. This is Grumbacher's Academy paint. This is, student paint. I reviewed it. It's actually not bad. I mean, you can see it's really covering the canvas quite well.
And can I say I've seen your paint, your paintings with the larger brush and with the smaller brush in the background, and I have to say that the smaller brush tends to add more activity.
Brushstroke and energy to it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I got to do a couple things to slow myself down. If I paint at full speed, then this stops being a relaxing show. It starts being a joke, you know what I mean? Like where I'm messing with people now because you know how fast I paint when I'm actually painting.
Yeah.
That's not fun in a class.
No.
You have to think about the pace because there really isn't a painting speed.
No.
There's not a set speed and everybody has a different processing speed where they're like how the art comes through them and out of them. And sometimes if you're a very fast painter and you're an instructor and you do that in a large setting, and this is kind of a large setting, even though it's a virtual setting, it can really stress people out. And that is the opposite goal of why we're even painting, right?
That's right. Everyone's just got to be cool and paint some yellow ochre.
We got to just paint some yellow ochre, which is, one of our favorite painter, Bob's primary colors in his palette. That was so fun doing Bob's painting recently.
Yep.
I really love that. And I'm really kind of ready for some warmer colors. So that's why suddenly you guys were like, why are there all these hot sunsets and warm paintings happening? Because I was just a little tired of all the cool blues. It is not important how I paint this in. I just want a solid color paint, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a solid color paint. Because this is going to be about dry brushing. This painting today is really going to cover the concepts of things that are clear, how we should actually be thinking about them as artists, and also it's going to cover dry brushing, which is one of the funnest things you can do in art.
Cool.
Now, your dry brushing can be greatly impacted by the tooth of your canvas.
That makes sense.
Right? So if your canvas is super smooth, it can impact your dry brushing. We'll talk about how you can adjust for that. If your canvas is super rough, woo, bonus day for you. It's going to be an easy, easy day. So you definitely don't want to paint out all that canvas texture. You want to leave that in. See how the Simply Simmons is digging the paint into my canvas? And I'm not really having to thin it or work it to do that. That's very nice. I might dip my brush, prime it in some water, but not a lot. There is some beautiful, expensive, wonderful products you can use to thin your acrylic paint to protect its efficacy, right? However, I like to use the cheap free stuff from my tap.
Yep.
I'm just saying, not that the $40 bottle of the medium isn't awesome. Just free from the tap. The challenge being keep it out of your drinking water.
Right.
How you doing on that today? That's always super challenging. Sippy, sippy.
Sippy.
How is everybody today?
Dude, everybody's pretty good. There's a whole lot of people out here, and they were. We have 170 people.
Hi.
And I have to appreciate Bonnie. She's always really supportive.
Bonnie is.
She's like, and I do appreciate everyone taking the time to like, comment, and subscribe. And when you share this, it really helps us get that reach, and we really appreciate that. So thank you guys.
I have been seeing them in some chats talking about them getting together and them meeting up the people watching the videos.
Yeah.
I think those are really cool special friendships you guys are making. I am so excited. We were just in someone else's live event today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because Lindsay and Mark Ramsey were on Video Creators, which is like a big deal YouTube show. Talking YouTube business. I was like tripping out. I was like, I know her. It was kind of a moment for me.
That was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. And then we had to run over here and teach painting. So
That's right.
So while this is drying, because I'm going to really want this to dry, I can go ahead and paint in my darkest color on my bottle, which is going to be, I'm going to take a little bit. See this bead I've rolled out? I don't know if we want to see it here or here. I love messing with you.
Where are you going? Back up.
I don't know. I just don't know.
There you go.
Let's do the bead at the palette, okay?
All right.
Because this is too much. Let's do the bead at the palette.
Okay.
So here's this bead on my brush. That's the amount of paint I'm talking about taking over. And I'm going to pull this over into my blue, and you can see I'm making a dark green. Very dark green, strong to the blue. And it's kind of not a bead, but it's not into the brush.
Got it.
Then I'm going to pull out a little bead of this burnt sienna and mix it in here. And that gives me a very dark green. I'm going to pull some water into it to make it fluid. And I'm going to just paint my bottle in. Little tip early on, something to think about. You can, in the labels of these wine bottles, and I wholly recommend should, customize them. Did you know that, John?
Oh, that you could customize the bottles?
Yeah, the labels to make them meaningful messages to people in your life.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, and it's just a great place to do that. I remember having some ladies that all their husbands were firefighters. And they customized all the label space to reflect, what they were doing.
Oh.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That is kind of cool.
I'm just going to paint this all green. This is going to be my wine bottle's underpainting. So I'm going to come back with highlights that are going to show that there's some light shining through. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So just having a nice time painting that in. Now, at the bottom, I'm going to actually let my brush strokes be rounded. Can you see this, John?
Yeah, I
Can everybody see that? I'm rounding it. Do I need to move my up-close cam?
You may need to. Let me see if I can. Hold on.
We got to get a cam to the left-hand side is what I think.
There we go. I think that's good right there.
Okay. I'm thinking we got to save up for a left-handed cam.
So there's a I'm actually reading a lot of stuff that's going on in channel.
Oh,
there's
okay.
two really interesting threads that are going on right now.
I would love to hear the interesting threads.
One is that everyone's really interested in a steampunk painting.
Oh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun to do?
That would be super fun.
And the other one that I thought was really interesting is that there was a Bob Ross Lego.
Yes, there was.
And I thought that was pretty cool. So
I'm always looking for it.
And did you know that? And this is something that you don't even know.
I don't even know.
So
you sure?
Yeah, Susie's. Okay. Well, maybe you know a little bit, but Susie's. Susie had that friend, the little girl who is a Lego creator, and you saw her stop motion of the Thanksgiving. That's what it was.
Yes,
it was a Lego Thanksgiving. So here I am stumbling. But if you turn around and look at your little screen there.
What? What? Look at the little paintings. What is going on? This is the coolest thing ever. Oh, somebody's going to get into art school. Look at that. What?
Wasn't that cute?
That was so cute.
So there'll be more of that coming.
There'll be more?
There'll be more of that coming.
More of that is coming. What is going on?
So
I did not know any of that.
That's one of those.
I am surprised
Funny little secret collabs that were
that I didn't even know I was in.
That you didn't even know you were in.
Sometimes I'm in a secret collab and I don't even know I'm in it. But you know what? I'm always charmed to discover it. I don't mind tribute paintings at all and tribute videos. They just tickle me, and I always try to save them to my playlist and say thank you when I find them because I think it's really cool.
We're gonna iCard the young lady's YouTube channel who was.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, good. We should.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't have it prepared here, but there was an impromptu conversation about Bob Ross Legos, and I was like, I have a little secret that I could share.
You have a little secret that you can show.
And since the community was all talking about Legos, now they all agree that they want a Sherpa Lego.
Dude, that was super cool.
And they're asking if I'll post the pictures up on Facebook, and we'll see if we can get those up there.
Now, I'm going to change my water out, guys, because my water is green.
Oh,
and the
is.
reason I'm going to change it out when it's green is that is a complement to orange, and it can slightly gray out my orange and yellows, and I want really bright, vibrant colors.
Vibrant colors.
Vibrant colors. So it'll be a chance for me to change my water. Right? Like you do.
Like you do.
You just got to change your water sometimes. So this is starting to dry, and I can get in here and draw with chalk now. Now, one of the things that I've done is I have printed out a glass.
Ooh.
Right?
A glass.
Well, tip, drawing. And I don't care what you're drawing. It really helps to look at what you're drawing. It helps to have a picture, a reference. Because if you have to rely on your mental reference, your left brain has a chance to weigh in. And whenever it lays in, it wants you to draw symbolically, which messes up what you're doing. So if you can give your brain a picture to work from, it will really, really help your result. Right?
Yep.
Now, of course, we're gonna have like all kind, and I have this for a champagne bottle and everything up here too. I have these things printed out, right? So now I'm gonna want my glass, right, to have a certain dimension on the canvas, and I'll get my little T-square out, and I might flip my canvas over, just to be clever, to measure my stuff out. Because what I essentially am gonna want is another straight line. I want this to be close. You could overlap them. We didn't overlap today, even though that's fun design-wise, just to give you guys a little rest and not stress you out just for fun. But sometimes I want to stress you out just for fun. Sometimes I do. So I'm just going to give myself a nice chalk line. I'm using kids' chalk. You could use your watercolor pencil. This just helps me keep my glass straight. It's important to keep your glass straight. It is. Now I'm going to bring my glass back.
Otherwise, everyone's like, they're like, is your table tilting?
Right. So the glass is closer to me, so it's slightly bigger in the space, right? That's like a little thing about picture placement and object relationships. And I also want it to be kind of stylish.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to say that the flute of the glass is going to end right here. So I'm going to make a little mark. Right? And I might be shorter. I might erase about an inch of my line here to shorten my glass. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do an ellipse. And there's probably some wonderful way of explaining an ellipse, but I was just thinking this is just a smished circle. But one of the tricks that I found, if you just really, you're like, oh, an ellipse, is a teeny tiny little smile meets a teeny tiny little frown. Isn't that funny?
It is.
It works, though. You just go, it's a teeny tiny little smile meets a teeny tiny little frown, and that makes an ellipse. That's just one of my tricks. There's about a gazillion on them on YouTube, all valid.
So Dottie had a question for us while we were in here.
Okay, I'm going to draw down and curve the glass. What is Dottie?
So Dottie was asking, now that we're making these mixing charts and all this stuff, do we still need a color wheel?
Yes.
Why?
We're going to be okay, we'll talk about that on the big art quest, but basically the reason you'd use a color wheel is because we're going to talk about triadic and harmonious and analogous color schemes.
Ah, okay.
And the way complements work in artwork and figure foreground and those kinds of things, but we're going to make it funner and not sounding so like, okay. It's going to be really fun. So now you understand what your paint does, right? And then I'm going to show you what color can do once you understand what the paint does.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you'll be like, I love it. So it'll be fun. And we're still going to do grayscale. It's like funny, the stuff that we'll still do.
And we'll still do it with our dinosaur color wheel?
Yeah.
Yay.
Though we'll probably be making a little color wheel in our book because there are more than 3 primary colors.
Oh. Well, now, okay. I guess I'll be watching that.
But nobody thinks so. All right, so we have this nice little bell shape that comes down here. And once I have that bell shape, that's going to help me form my stem. At the bottom, right, I'm going to want to I'm going to do about a 1/2 inch below my stem here. I'm going to make a smile. Again.
You have to move your close-up camera down.
I got to move my close-up camera.
Down.
Smiling. Make that smile. Okay, this is the space that the glass is resting on. And then I'm going to make the frown. The frown's going to meet down here too.
Yep.
Okay, and that'll be the back side of my glass. All right, and you're going to want to smooth it out, but that's just a good way if you have trouble getting that in. Oh, I'm getting a little chalky here. That's okay. This line will not touch this bottom line. I know it's crazy. I'm teaching you guys to draw this in, and you guys can have a traceable. I don't think there's anything wrong with the traceables. It's just that this is nice to know this concept, and we're going to do a more complicated version. We're going to do 3 versions of this, and to like, we're going to do a 1 hoot, 2 hoot, 3 hoot version of this so that we really understand glass is what I'm doing here. I'm going to curve my stem from the bowl in a little bit like a waist, and then I'm going to come down on a straight line, just thickening this line a little bit, and then I'm going to curve out. I don't know if you can see this outward curve.
Ah.
I'm going to curve in, go down, 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 then curve out. And then just like on this, I'm going to round this. This is where the glass blower attached the stem. If it's a good time, if you feel like you need more of a base, to give yourself more of a base. And sometimes if you think about what you're looking at, oh, this is where the glass blower attached the stem.
Yeah.
Right? And then inside this, you know that you've got some water. If this is an ellipse, the champagne, the mimosa, is also an ellipse.
Ah.
They have to match for it to look right, for the illusion to exist.
Otherwise, it's tilting.
Otherwise, it's tilted. Now, this part is really fun because natural things are not about perfection. I really wanted some oranges in my painting.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Right? I just thought that was so enjoyable and really had worked for me. So I'm going to just put in my oranges. My oranges, if you think about the size of an orange is about this big. Oranges, if it gets this big, then it's a grapefruit.
Yeah.
So if you get big with your orange, then you're like, no, it's totally a grapefruit. Don't even like try to change it. Just be like, it's grapefruit.
That's right.
Totally meant that. Go with a cat. Like, you know how cats, like, they do some crazy thing and they're like, no, I meant to do that, darling.
If they're too small, they're kumquats.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
So you be like a cat and be like, no, it's a grapefruit. I was being, experimental.
Yeah. There's lots of different orange-shaped fruit that are
Yes,
various
there really
size
is.
that we can just say, yep, we meant that.
So I'm going to draw a little circle, and I'm going to overlap my orange over my stem here a little bit. See, I'm overlapping my orange over my stem.
Yeah.
Might need to take the size down just a titch. And that's just something I'm watching. I'm like, what's the size of my orange?
Now, all right, now, do you think you're making too much drama with those overlapping?
So much drama. Be like a novella in your painting, and then like a calm lake in your life.
Yeah.
Novella in your maybe that's why painting calms us all so much, is all the drama goes here. And then we're like, okay, I got it in the rest of my life. Up here in this upper curve, I'm going to actually start this orange's buddy.
Ah.
And they're layering. This creates the sense of things have depth on the canvas. So the way I layered these objects, now if I had layered this glass over this champagne, then it would have created even more of that and then run a shadow through all of it. But sometimes you simplify.
That's too much drama.
It's never too much drama. And we know we're going to have some stems here, and maybe a little stem there. So I've got this in, and now that I have this in, I get to do this really fun thing.
Okay.
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 I get to take a small bead. Do you guys see how little of a bead that is?
It's just like a touch.
Right? Just a little touch. And I get to pull this into my white.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Maybe back into my yellow. So it's like this.
Okay.
And I'm going to, let's see if I can get this up here because I really want you to see this, see this, see this.
Okay.
Hopefully this is going to be close enough for you guys to really see it. Very lightly. Oh, my pressure is so light. It's like I'm weak and I'm painting this painting with butterfly wings. Oh, my little weak butterfly wings are painting this painting. And so this canvas has a soft tooth on it. So I'm really having to think about how light my pressure is. And I'm going to go around this. I'm going to keep this going all around my canvas. This light where I'm just trying to capture the tooth of the canvas. All right? Some brush strokes will have more tenacity and strength, and some of them will be lighter. And what I am creating here is a texture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a lot of fun. Are we seeing that?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're seeing that beautiful texture.
Let me see you look on the monitor and see.
Huh?
I'll let you look on the monitor and see it.
Okay.
Let it focus. There it goes.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing some texture happening
Yeah.
here. So I'm going to come around the top, but lightly, lightly, lightly. Now, in folk art or outsider art, a lot of times you will see these fabulously wonderful techniques. And these are foundational into doing pieces that have a rustic feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you've done the truck with me, you know, well, this is a lot like painting rust. But it is a lot like painting rust. Sometimes my brush will load with a little more white, and sometimes it'll load with a little more yellow. I'll break up my brush strokes. They don't have to be directional. They don't have to be orderly. They can be crazy and expressive. You could weave them like a basket. The important thing I want you to get here is the light pressure and the dry brushing.
Now, I know you've talked about this before, but I think it'd be great if you could touch on it here. Now, you've talked about some of that outsider art and that folk art principle, and you're painting the background around the foreground objects.
Yes.
And isn't that one of those techniques?
It is exactly one of those techniques. Oh, I just love how you've been listening to what I say.
And I find that very, generally very interesting because it's counterintuitive, but it creates a very interesting effect.
It does. And that's what sometimes, if you don't go through a traditional training process and you're showing yourself how to paint, that's what we're really talking about in outsider art. What we're saying is somebody is not an outsider. They're not some strange person. Is that they have developed their painting process organically within themselves. They've solved all of these painting questions and problems themselves, uninfluenced by established traditional painting methods. And so therefore, sometimes they're very out of the box and they solve them in a way that's fabulous and amazing and innovative that none of us have thought of.
Yeah.
So never ever feel bad if somebody's like, where were you trained? Which is a really weird question in the art world. I have to say, no one particularly normal has ever asked me that. But you will sometimes get asked that. And never feel bad when you're like, I'm self-taught, because some of the greatest artists that have ever lived were self-taught.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with it. You don't ever have to apologize to how you came to your art skills.
Nope. Just enjoy your skills.
Just enjoy your skills. Just enjoy your art time.
Make sure you spell it with a Z.
Yes, always spell skills with a Z. Things you learn on Heart Party. How are we doing today?
Wow, doing pretty good. Man, everybody out there, they're loving the background. They're thinking this is really great. Oh, and they were saying they missed stunt hands, but I was like, that was just because I cut cleverly around myself today.
I'm missing Ian. It was so fun having Ian in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday. Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, they haven't seen that yet.
Not everyone has seen it?
Well, I haven't shared all the videos yet.
You haven't seen all the videos, but they saw Ian paint with me.
Oh, yeah. That's true, they did, but they haven't seen our adventure out, the brunch adventure stuff.
No, we went to brunch, and we actually met some people from our community.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was so incredible.
So we'll have more on that coming up.
Love this light pressure.
So Mark thinks that the pears on the table there are the wrong shape.
You know, I could have done these as pairs.
Yeah.
That would have been really cheeky, right? I am loving the color charts. Loving them. I am loving the pairs.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about that in the after show.
Yeah, I have to wonder how long before we're going to get one of these with a pair of pears in it.
You know, I feel like I'm seeing all this pear love, and I'm like, do we need to paint pears? And I just didn't know we really did.
You know, we almost have to see if we cannot paint pears for a year. You know? Just because, you know, we have to give our community time to paint their own pears without influence.
They need to paint their own pears.
So you're going to have to avoid pears as a fruit subject.
Always, because the quest will always be there for new pears.
That's right.
I wonder if that's what we're going to start referring to new questers next year. New pears.
You know,
I'm OG pear.
The fruit that shall not be named.
The fruit shall not be named. Actually, everyone's going to love their pears so much.
I don't know. You're going to have to work on Jane with those pears.
Well, maybe her artist statement is to rebel against them. I mean, it's just about an honest journey about where you're currently at.
Yeah.
It's like the people who are like, I don't really have a favorite animal or color, and I don't want to be like, you know, top down. But that's an honest answer. Like, I know about them better to know that they live so many colors they don't want to declare a favorite, and they live so many animals they don't want to declare a favorite. That's a statement too, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's not a wrong statement. It's just, it is where things are currently at.
But what I find is funny is now, if you were to ask, you know, Jane a reasonable question like, you know, what's your favorite fruit? She's going to say not pears.
No, that will be funny, like at lunch when she's out with people and they're like, who wants pears? No.
No pear salad for me.
No pears. There will not be any pears in your life ever again. In fact, I love them. I still love the pears, and I'm so proud of all the pears and the abstract hearts and all of that. So proud of just the amazing paintings I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. So Sandy was noticing that the brushstrokes around the painting, around the wine bottle, are different in the different directions than.
Yeah. So when I go around an object, I'll switch. Let's see if we're on this real well. Show you around the wine glass. Okay. So I'm coming around the wine glass, and I've got this nice edge that I want to do. And it's my inclination to switch to the edge of my brush. I'm still light on the pressure. It's still showing a lot of the canvas underneath and the texture. But I just use this to get my edge. And then, interestingly, when I come here, I go flat out. So,
and
weird that is, but that's what I do. That's what I do. What do you do?
Well, I don't paint. Now, this is because you do the outsider art technique, right?
Well, I mean, what I would say is that I traditionally see this layering of paint in this way in craft fairs and art shows. And when I'm talking to the person, they're not traditionally trained. They're self-taught. They're just influenced by what they're seeing around them and how they decided to use the medium. And I'm looking at something and I'm like, that is visually exciting to me.
Right. But I guess the internally the conflict, like I know I would want to paint the background with all this sort of uniform back brushstroke and then have the wine glass over that so that the brushstrokes like disappeared.
Well, in traditional painting, right, which is kind of an oil thinking, right? Acrylic lets us do things in a way that oils will often not let us do. In traditional oil painting, I would have sketched these in fully. I would have shaded them. I would have come in with an umber paint. And then I would have glazed and grisailled this painting in. And by that nature, it's intrinsically already then a tonalist painting.
I don't even know.
Which means that I'm more about the grayscale of the painting than the color in the world. Does that make sense?
No, you lost me at grisaille.
Okay. Which we're going to cover in the big quest. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, that's grisaille.
Okay, can I ask something?
Like George Takei, going to be like this. Grisaille. Ooh, I amused myself. I'm pulling a bead of yellow and pulling some white.
Now, you're still dry brushing, yeah?
I'm dry brushing this entire background. Actually, this whole rest of the painting.
Yeah.
is dry brush, dry brush, dry brush.
Just dry brush, dry brush.
Yeah, if dry brushing has been your challenge, it's a real easy technique. Believe it or not, it really is a one-hoot technique. It's just about lightening up.
Yeah.
Just about lightening up and being like, I love that this painting is showing through in these colors, the way they're impacting each other, and the light. This is gorge, and yet really super, super mellow to do.
Yeah.
Like, you could do this in a 3-hour painting party. You could show this painting, no problem. I love how we do these under 2.
Star Trek pears.
What?
Star Trek pears.
Star Trek. Grisaille.
So, yeah, it's just like, makes me think of pears being a little like tribbles.
You can do grisaille in acrylic. Very few people know that.
I don't even know what it is, so.
See, I'm saying really awesome things, but nobody knows. They're like, okay, sure.
I'm going to be awesome. I don't even know what it is.
If you say so, lady. If you say you can, because who knows?
Can you adjust the close-up camera?
Yeah, I can. We're just painting in this last little bit here.
Wow, Mo Cuts went for the full pair. Zombie bird pears. I don't even know where that came from.
I think that's Mark's painting, which he did a video of, John.
Did he?
He did. He did time-lapse video, explain why. We've had a bunch of Big Art Quest videos that have happened.
We have.
If you do, please let us know. If you do a Big Art Quest video or you do a tribute video, let us know.
That's right.
Because I definitely want to put it in the playlist, and I definitely want to see it.
That you were working on this morning. I wanted to go watch that. The playlist.
Yeah. So there we go. There's that background. And isn't that energetic? And this also kind of reminds me of mid-century modern.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it have a little brutalist feeling to it? It's like, angles. Sorry. Sometimes I geek out on the art stuff. Sometimes I geek out. Sometimes I geek out.
Someone was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have there's a bunch of grisaille stuff up there right now. Cinnamon painting with a stormtrooper. That would be fun.
That would be fun. I know my friend wants me to enter the big Star Wars show this spring.
That would be cool. So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this bottle. And I want to show my little picture here. When we're painting glass, see my little picture?
Mm-hmm.
We're painting just the reflections. We're not really it's weird. We're painting the object, but we're kind of just painting the light catching on the object and the colors that light makes. And so when we're trying to, that's why I love black and whites, because it really lets me see what's going on. So we're just trying to get these reflections in there. Yeah. And in this world, what's going to reflect on this bottle? What's got oranges it's going to reflect on? It's got golds it's going to reflect on. It's got all this green, right? And we're going to see these greens in lighter colors.
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to have across here is I know I've got a label. I'm going to do this label. I actually like this label. You can do the cap. Well, I have the cap in the painting. Should I teach you exactly what's in the painting? Or should I go off the reservation?
You go off reservation. Although there is a demand for you to explain what the definition of grisaille.
Grisaille is a technique of painting where you do a tonal study. You just basically, you're sketching it in an umber or a black paint, right? And so you've basically done a large sketch on a canvas using your paint. Like a pencil sketch like you used to see with all the shading and everything? Yeah. Which is called chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro! Anyway, so there's these really cool words in art. So you've done this, right? And so now you've seen that. And then what you do is you take paint glazes, right? Thin coats of transparent paint, and then you just add the color to the tonal study. It's exactly like in Photoshop when you colorize a photo.
Huh.
It's but that's what we did before photography, apparently.
Interesting.
So I'm going to put in a little label. So I'm going to make a little smile here at the shoulders, because I just think this label is better designed than what I originally thought of. And I'm going to give this a little dot. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to come here because I want to know that this is like this, because we're going to dry brush a little label in here.
I wonder if the local 501st would come paint with you.
If the local what?
501st. The stormtrooper.
I would have them if they want to come paint.
That would be awesome. We'll have to see.
That would be awesome.
That would be an interesting guest painting for May the 4th.
I'm going to pull a very dry little bit of bead of blue over to my yellow. It's going to get me a very bright green. This is a very bright green. And I'm going to come here in my bottle on a dry brush, and I'm going to just brush this down.
You have to
And
adjust the
as
close-up.
we got to adjust this
Close-up.
close-up camera. Guys, this is going to be really easy. This is about the hardest pressure that I'm going to have on this stroke is at the beginning of it, and then I'm going to lighten it, lighten it, lighten it. And I want it to be as horizontal, vertical.
Vertical?
Vertical would be the word that I can make it.
Up and down.
Up and down. Just here, just dry brushing this. Not filling it all up. I'm leaving spaces. I'm just making these little... See that? Isn't that crazy how that already starts to make something? Weird that is. And then I'm going to come across on the horizontal like this. Just a little bit down here. Just lightly. And then lightly here. Now I'm going to have a label over this. Can we all see that? So I've got this bright green that I've made here. And I'm going to add a little burnt sienna to it. Because that has orange, it's going to gray it out. And then I'm going to add a little white. It's going to make this wonderful olive color. Brush is still really, 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 really dry. And I'm going to come down on the edge of my brush. Can you guys see the edge of my brush?
Yep.
Edge.
Edge. We see it.
And then I'm going to make a dot, dot. I'm just making a little reflection that's happening here in the glass.
Ah.
Then I might come on the diagonal. Maybe I'll give some of this bottom some of this. Right here. Isn't that lovely?
That is.
Just happiness. Look at that. Just painting some glass like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do. You can just totally do that. I'm going to rinse this out. And I'm going to add a little orange into this because if this were here on this for sure, orange would happen.
Yeah.
It would. So I'm going to take just a smidge of my red. I'm going to get this bright orange here. Stronger to the yellow. Super dry brush. And just a couple places I'm going to do a little horizontal and like that. And then a little bit, just a little, because it would. You can have just on this thin edge where it would go. There you go. Look at that.
Ooh.
How cool, right?
Yeah.
How cool. Now I'm going to have the fun of painting the label in.
All right.
Label going to be fun. So I'm going to take a little of my phthalo and my burnt, and I'm going to mix it burnt dominant, which we all know from our big art quest. And I'm going to add a little white to it, and we get that gray color that we all saw in our color charts. But it's got that slight blue cast that we like. And I'm going to dry brush in the shape of this label right over this green. Dry brushing it in. The green will still show through a little bit. Just dry brushing this label color in.
You have to adjust your close-up camera there.
I need to adjust my close-up camera. Well, that's a fun noise.
Well, we can see it.
All right, give me my close-up and then I'll come up here. So see, I'm just dry brushing this in. The green is still going to show through here. Up here, I might get around it. I go horizontal on my brush stroke. Right? Just dry brushing it in. This is my darkest color on this. Then I'm going to get some white and really lighten this up. Right here, I'm going to just dry brush a little bit here, down the neck, and then maybe highlight, make a little round medallion, this. See? Isn't that crazy how that label starts to pop in? Just saying that there's a medallion here. Here's the bananas thing that you can now do. Get a little of this yellow. Put it into this gray you've mixed. And you're kind of thinking about this formula. You're thinking in your head, 1 blue, 4 burnt sienna, a bunch of white, and some yellow. And on the cap, I'm going to add a little of that grayed yellow. And on the label, I'm going to enforce my label here with a little of that grayed yellow. Then that just gives my champagne bottle a nice little label. It's made at my vineyard where I grow my grapes. I'm going to take my little chalk out so it's not visually confusing. You guys seen that?
We are seeing it.
How easy is that?
Yeah.
Pull some white. I haven't even rinsed my brush. With this crazy color you've got here, make a very light mixture here. Make a light shade because I've added white to it. And I'm going to draw in, I'm going to do a vertical line here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave several inches like at the bottom. I'm going to do a vertical line here. Actually, I think this is a better painting than the first one. And then I'm just going to curve a dry brush. Can we see it easily? I'm going to pull this down.
Yep, there it goes.
See this dry brush label? It's as if I'm doing painting poetry. That's what I like to think of this, like painting poetry.
You're just implying a label.
We're just implying a label. We're not putting it in. We're letting our souls finish the label. Make sure the label has a similar curve to your bottle because this helps tell the story that your bottle is curved.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing. But see how we're not being like crazy, like label. And that's wonderful. Now inside my glass.
Yeah.
I'm going to get I'm going to get a small 1/2 inch bright that I'm fairly confident in. I'm going to get this Simply Simmons one. Small 1/2 inch bright. See how it's about that wide? You kind of see the shape.
Yeah.
Now this one is a number 4 Simply Simmons bright. What I'll tell you is these bristles are fairly short and they're tightly bound, and that's very helpful.
Yeah. And you just grab some of those.
Yeah, I just grabbed some of these. And I'm going to bring a little yellow over, 1 bead of yellow over to my cad red, and I'm making a very deep blood orange color. And inside this glass,
Now I'm going to just take while you're filling that glass, I wanted to just thank all our moderators, especially Bonnie, who's always out there trying to make sure that I catch the questions and that, they put up with so much to try to make sure that we get to catch all the questions and make sure that everybody's there being nice and wonderful. And
it's true.
We appreciate you guys so much. So
thank you.
Thanks for helping me catch those questions, the ones that I miss.
So I've got this right here, this deep orange on.
Yep.
And I want to say thank you too. I really appreciate it. And I'm dry brushing this in. Just dry brushing it in. I'm scribbling out my chalk, which is annoying me. Going, go away, go away.
Which is good because everyone can see that the chalk just disappears.
It does. That's why I don't mind using it. Coming over here, getting a little more yellow, getting more blood orange mixed up. It's kind of a 1-to-1. And I'm just dry brushing. This is the deep color that's happening in my liquid. Because this is a mimosa.
Right. Now what kind of chalk were you using that is just red?
Kids chalk.
Just
from CVS.
Okay.
For $1.
Just the regular
package of it.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's cheap. It's there. You can get better. For sure, you can get better. Now I'm going to I'm going to just trace this with this dark line. But I'm not going to paint it all in. Because when I want to know where it is, right? I want to know what's going on. While you've got this color, and just trust me on this, under here and down the stem, run yourself a thin bead of it. That red. Okay, and then here at the bottom,
You have to get close
run, okay. This is just a weird important thing about glass. Glass reflects what's around it. So you're going to need to have some of the world, even when you're faking glass, when you're not looking at a still life, you have to know, well, I have to put some of this in here, right, to tell this story. Now we're going to paint in our 2 oranges, right, with this blood orange color.
You mean those round, unripened orange colored pears.
Mm-hmm. Those guys.
Yeah.
And this is, again, just a dry brush. You're not trying to paint out all the yellow ochre. This painting is about layers. This is Shrek's painting. Brush directionality is mattering here for me. I'm curving my strokes, and I hope everyone can see those being curved.
So these could be onions, too.
These could be onions. These would actually be really cool purple onions. A whole little setup. Just be a really neat painting.
With some carrots.
Yeah. It's just fun to do still lifes. I like doing still lifes. Like, a lot. They just, I don't know, make me happy. I used to love, like, the classic still lifes with, like, dead fish in it and a pheasant. So I was like, what's going on, man? How fast did that artist have to paint before that room started to smell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what a tonal study's for. Also, several dead pigeons. So I've got that sort of dry brushed in. I'm going to come over maybe a slightly darker orange. I'm going to follow this line here. I'm going to come back with my burnt sienna in a very sketchy way, but I can let the brush strokes tell me the shape of what I've got going on here, and that way I don't lose it. So by letting the orange be slightly darker than this orange, it helps to find this orange as being behind.
Interesting. Cool.
Just helps it. I'm telling it where it goes. Saying you orange are slightly behind.
And different.
You are several iPhones back. I'm several iPhones back, so I can't really give this orange too much grief. I'm not updated on my iPhones, as my periscopes totally demonstrate.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. So we can see these two objects that are here.
I see Chuck just joined us.
Hi, Chuck.
You can see his awesome lower thirds he makes for us. There he is. Chuck does those for us.
Now, before I get into this, where I paint this at all, one little thing I'd like to do is I'd like to draw a little circle here.
Okay.
And I really want to wait. I wanted to wait. I'm going to draw this little circle here. This is my orange slice. Right? And to draw this orange slice, we want this up here. Gotta let me know when I need it up here.
Okay.
So I'm going to show this again.
You need it up there.
So do this circle at the corner of your glass while the chalk's still in and all that. When you do the circle, just erase this inner corner, and that's how it makes it look like the orange is stuck there the correct way. Right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to send some well wishes out to the Southern Angel. She's been... Tammy. There we go.
Tammy. Hi, Tammy.
She's been stuck in bed for a couple weeks, not feeling good, sick, under the weather, and been watching you. So
oh, Tammy, I hope you feel better really soon.
Yeah, we hope you can get up and get to painting.
Yes.
Send us some pictures of what you paint now that you've been watching for a little while. We want to see what you're doing.
Love to.
Show us your paintings when you're up.
So I just took a little blue over to this burnt sienna to darken it. We've all done that. We know what it does.
Yep.
Right? So I'm going to super lightly, really lightly outline this glass with this. Isn't that crazy? And I'm going to come under, not all the way, just a little bit, come under here. And then down here. This is sort of taking out my chalk line.
Yep, but I lost you.
Okay.
See, there it goes.
So it's taking out my chalk line.
Okay.
Right? I might need to, well, I guess we'll keep it there. You just let me know when I need to move it.
Okay.
Right, and then I'm going to come here also, not the whole thing, just a little bit of shading, like you would have.
Yep, like you would have.
You do. Just defining the bottom of the glass here. A little bit. Come up lightly. This is still a dry brush, and that's nice. Now this line I'm lighter with and a little thinner with on that side. And I come up.
And I think that we have a little brush Aubrey out there joining us today.
Hi, Aubrey.
And if she's not a little brush, hi, not little brush Aubrey.
Hi, Aubrey. Would be a different tone, isn't it?
We still want to welcome you to have a good time here. So, but I think it's a little brush who's joining us today.
I love that you're doing this with us. I'm really light on my little smile there. See how light I am with that smile?
Yeah, you have to pull your camera over here just a touch.
A little more?
You're a little off wonky there. A little more. You can get more centered.
No, this is all we're working.
Okay.
So I'm going to come here.
Just pay attention to the left side of your screen, folks.
We're not coming over here at all.
I know.
Okay. And then I'm just going to very lightly, and it's interesting, I can even do this in little segmented brush strokes. Look at this.
Ah.
Not smooth brush strokes. Outline my little orange here. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that takes. That's all that takes in there. Now I'm going to come down here.
Where are you going?
I'm going here. Najikam. And I'm going to just pull another little bead. I'm going to be the glass blower.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull this little shadow right here. And then another one down the stem just a little bit.
Oh, you lost me.
Okay. So we're just pulling these things down. See, what we're not painting is telling our story.
Ah.
And then a little bit there. All right.
Okay.
Very cool. That is literally all of that we have to do.
That's a very
Of
chill
the
mimosa
brown.
glass.
To see how it's already starting to be a glass, what we're not painting makes it a glass.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it super fun. Now I'm going to come in with my dark brown.
Yep.
And I'm going to outline this orange. Dry brush, just outline.
You successfully managed to get that orange size so they're not grapefruit.
Just barely, but I did. And then right here, I'm going to just do a little brown spot. That's the shadow. And that will look really cool later. Now, I'm going to do the same thing right here. But I have to stop and start. You know why? I need to leave room for this leaf that's going to come out. Leave a little space for a leaf you can overlap. You don't have to, and if you didn't, don't panic. Then your leaf just doesn't overlap. You don't get kicked out of art. No one comes and collects your paints and says, no more painting for you. You still can paint.
You
That was a Jerry Seinfeld joke, which nobody would get. She's okay. That just means the door is on.
Yeah. She also knows kung fu and gets the bad guys.
Yeah. She gonna get the bad guys. So I'm gonna pull this up here and to the right. You guys see that?
Wait, you can't. You just a touch went off the screen. There you go.
Okay. And I'm going to drop a stem this way, just lightly, and a little stem like this. And that's all I'm going to say about that there. Okay. Now we're going to see this. I'm going to get back into my 1-inch brush, which I love. And I've got it, dried it out on my towel. I don't know if you guys saw that. I dried it out on my towel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull a dark brown, which I made with my blue. I'll make sure this is dry with my towel. And I'm going to come under my bottle with a dry brush and this dark brown.
Get your camera over there.
Okay. It's going to be hard to do this one at this zoom level.
Okay.
But I will see what I can do.
We'll just see what we can do.
We'll see what we can do. And I'm going to scrumble. We've talked about this before. It's very light. I need a little more brown on my brush. And I'm just very lightly telling the story of a shadow. Okay. And I sometimes get sideways so you guys can see, and then my stuff gets lopsided.
Yeah.
But this is just about this little shadow that's happening right here. See the little shadow he's casting?
Yeah.
Then we're going to come here. Come around here with our shadow. Just me and my shadow. Just scrumbling this out. I break up my pattern. I don't make a blob that just goes across here. I try to dapple my light. And I'm going to anchor Whenever I put a shadow under an object, like as I'm putting this shadow under this glass or this orange, what I have done is I've anchored it in the canvas space. Until I add the shadow, they're floating.
Gotcha.
They're not sitting anywhere, they're floating in space, in cool, scrumbly yellow space.
So
when I put the shadow in, then they sit on the ground.
now is scrumbly another word for dry brushing?
Scrumbling is a messy dry brush.
Scrumbling is a messy dry brush.
When you scrumble, you're doing things like this. You're being messy.
You're kind of scrubbing the brush.
Yeah, you're kind of scrubbing the brush, but with a plan.
Yeah.
I'm still light enough on my pressure, though, that the canvas underneath is showing. But can you guys see those objects start to attach to the picture plane?
Yeah.
They start to exist here. A lot of times when you guys send me a picture and you're like, what could I do? It's like, you're really good. Give me a highlight, give me a shadow. Put shadows under the objects and cast some sun on them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your painting goes three-dimensional, exists in space, tells a story of the world. Look at that lovely shadow.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? They're just sitting down, having a lovely day, doing that. It's just terrific. I'm going to get back into my 1/2-inch brush and get back into some of the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which is painting this champagne.
Oh.
Wait, I can't see it because you don't have me on the... There we go. If you don't move me to the big screen, then I don't know where I'm going.
I take away all your ability to see.
You take away all my ability to see, you do. I'm going to pull some yellow. This brush may not be clean, and I may need new water. Remember we talked about the colors?
Yeah, luckily, I brought you plenty of water.
You did. So I'm going to get back into my colors.
All right.
And I'm going to pull some very bright orange. Very, very bright. Just like 3 yellow, 1 red. And I'm going to dry brush the top of my beverage with that. Can you guys see that?
There.
Right? And then I'm going to come down, curve, leaving some of this dark to be there. Come down, curve. Not telling the whole thing. I'm creating reflections. I might pull a little of that under somewhere into my glass down the stem and at the bottom. Just a little. Now I'm going to make a bright orange, which is an almost 1-to-1. 1 cad yellow, 1 cad red. And I'm going to orange up my drink. Going horizontal with these strokes. Now I'm downward, letting it show through. Giving them some orange juice. Right? You see that?
Yeah.
And then... and I'm going to have some fun, right? I definitely want to paint a rind around here and some stuff. So I'm going to come and get, first I'm going to get just some white, I think. And I'm going to give myself a little, see this white highlight?
Yeah.
Just swing it down. Come along this edge here, this water, not paint the whole thing. Not this water, this orange juice, this mimosa, right there.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit right here in this corner. Down the stem. Down the stem. Down the stem. And what's wonderful is the chalk is doing it for me, but I'm going to come back with my white to make sure that once the chalk is gone, that effect...
Uh-huh.
See, I'm putting it here strongly on the right. It's still happening.
Yeah.
There it is. It still exists. So I've got all these reflections in. Right? Add a little yellow to this bright white mixture.
Yeah.
So you have just a ducky color. Like baby ducks. Soft, soft baby ducks. Lighter than your background. Right? Add a little of this to your surface in a little circle, and then just dry brush in this space a little bit. Don't fill it all in. You just want a little. Little goes a long way.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to add a little more yellow to my mixture and kind of come around my orange with this yellow, because I want this to be segmented. Right? Rinse it out. Rinse, 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 rinse. And right in the center, I'm gonna pull some just white on my paint, my brush. Right in the center, I'm gonna put a little dot. And I'm going to draw some segments out. Little triangle segments. See my segments?
Yeah.
Just drawing them out on the spoke wheel. It can be kind of messy.
Yeah.
But it's okay because you're going to come back with this dry brush. So just what you just want to do is segment it out. Right? Trace the inside edge with the white, which is going to make you think of pith.
Yeah.
This is the fun part of doing this little lemon. This decoratively is gorgeous. And it just, that little white touch, when that pith is in there, makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and put a bright orange in there. All right, which I've gotten pretty good at making this point, and I love making. Let's get some bright orange out. So fun to do with the cad yellow and the cad red. And I'm very carefully, but with a dry brush, painting in my segments. Are we seeing it? Yeah, we're seeing it. Very carefully, but still dry brushing, still letting the layers of paint show through.
Yes.
And as I do this, I feel like this becomes so whimsical, so cheerful, so ready for sunbeams. This feels like sunbeams to me, this painting.
Well, you garnished it.
I garnished it. And I'm going to come in with some darker orange. I'm just going to pick up some more red into my bright orange.
Yeah.
And then at the centers of each wheel, I'm going to pull back this darker color.
Ah.
Look at that. Isn't that beautifully garnished?
It is.
Just cheerful. I have a happy little... Look how... But everything is reflective.
It's all shiny and happy.
Shiny. It's happy. It's cheerful. You're telling such... When you look at this painting on your wall, you can't help but smile because these colors influence your emotional centers to feel better.
Huh.
They do. They just say summer and parties and garden parties and my trees are blooming. I'm making some more of that bright orange. Right? That 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come and...
Close up there.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to come down to my oranges. Actually, I'm going to come down to this orange because I'm going to want to do the green leaf before I get into the other one. I'm going to come... Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to just... Look at it. I'm just going around, dropping dry brush strokes with this orange paint. How do we love dry brushing as a tool set in our little kit and caboodle? It's easy. It's fun. All right. Here we go. I add a little yellow to my mixture. I'm picking up a little highlight here, giving this some shape. See the shape?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fun? Just right there, kind of coming around. I'm not rinsing out my brush. I'm just going to pick up some white. Right there. Wow! How simple.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
pop. Orange.
Orange.
Orange. Rinse this out for a second.
Orange.
Orange.
Orange, you glad they're not pears?
Is that our new thing? Now I'm going to add a little yellow to that dark mixture. I'm going to get a very, very dark green. Forest green. So it's a little burnt sienna, a little yellow, and a lot of blue. And I'm going to, on the edge of my brush, draw a little leaf. Isn't that a happy little leaf?
It is.
And come around on the edge of my brush and draw another side to him. It's like a little teardrop. I'm going to dry brush this little leaf in. I actually like this painting than the design one better.
Yeah.
I do. Sometimes that happens. I'll be painting with you guys. I'm like, I like this one better than the one when I was working out the design. This is better. So, because for me, sometimes too, it's painting it the second time.
Yeah.
So just dry brushing that little guy in. Oh, I could hang this on my wall. I'm liking this so much. Get a little dark green going. I might need a little there. Now, he's going to go upwards. Coming on my edge.
Oh, you lost me on your little...
Okay. Where are we going? Well, okay, when you gotta, I gotta wait for you. There you go. There you are. It's so hard to follow me. You guys have no idea what John is up against. Anyone who's come in to help him has just left shaken and disturbed. It's like whack-a-mole, but with cameras.
And a little afraid that the ceiling was going to eat them.
Yeah, and a little afraid that the ceiling is going to fall on them with thousands and thousands of bright, hot lights. So there we go there. Oh, you know what we needed to do today and I didn't do?
What did we do?
Oh, well. I'll do it at the end, but he won't know I did it. It's Clive's birthday today, so I had wanted to wish Clive a happy birthday during our wishes.
Oh. Well, you know, I didn't know it was his birthday today.
It is. It's his birthday today.
Well, we'll get some. We'll definitely
go by and wish Clive 5 Art a happy birthday and say that Cinnamon said hi and I'm wishing him a happy birthday because I meant to do that right at the beginning.
Well, we'll make sure that we.
I'm so silly.
We'll leave a little message in the comments there for him.
Yeah, just let him know happy birthday. To be like, Cinnamon says happy birthday, Clive. Because I do. It's so fantastic. Sometimes in getting these going, especially live, it's hard to remember to do things at the beginning of a video. And you want to do them at the beginning before you get into the process of teaching it.
Wait, can you pull the close-up camera there down a little?
Yeah.
Now,
so see, I've just painted this little leaf behind.
Are you painting around the side of the canvas there?
No.
Oh.
But you could.
You could just take it right around the corner?
You could have done that this whole way. If you feel like it. And that's okay.
And this is just putting more drama, huh?
I'm just adding some drama. Now watch me. I'm going to put some yellow into this green I've made.
Uh-huh.
Some bright yellow. And let's see what the close-up camera says. Close-up camera can mostly see it. I'm going to draw a line halfway down the leaf. Halfway down the leaf. Halfway down, halfway down, halfway down, halfway down. Little drama. Dry brushed.
Just a little bit.
Little bit, see? And the further you get from the piece, the better this looks. It's weird. And I know for sure, like, yeah, I get far away from my art, it looks really good, but that's actually a good thing.
Because the shape and figure
and the
of
expressiveness of it start to come together, and your eyes start telling these really wonderful stories, and that it's all soft and dry brush starts to feel really good to your brain. So, going to just do this right here. All right. So that half of that leaf has the light. So it's just decorative, but it's wonderful. I'm going to rinse it out. And I'm going to go back into my oranges. I'm going to make my mid-orange. We're almost done, guys. Are they freaking out that we're almost done?
Yeah, this is crazy.
We're almost done. This is like adult coloring. It's just so relaxing. And I'm going to just dry brush this. Just dry brushing lightly on my orange. I'm going to let the dark be a little bit stronger where these two are overlapped and maybe even under the leaf. I'm just dry brushing this in. Just having to relax. I really hope I'm explaining this great because I love when I see you guys do the paintings and they're like popping. And I'm hoping this is going to be like the koi.
Yeah.
Add a little yellow to your mix. I'm going to rinse it out and I'm going to come back and I'm going to dry brush a little bit of that there on this right hand side. See? Causing this shape. We're going to do some stuff in Big Art Quest to make it like, where you'll be like, oh, I totally know why she did all that.
Yeah.
Like, oh. But we're going to do it in a fun way. Though most of you got it with the pears. And then I'm going to come over here and add this little highlight right here.
Now, are we doing a Q&A after this?
Yeah, we're going to do a Q&A after this.
And what time is that scheduled for?
Well, you were going to bump it to whenever we were done, remember?
Okay, I guess I'm bumping it. I'm going to go look and see when it's supposed to be.
I'm going to put a little orange label on this mimosa bottle.
Okay.
It's bright orange.
I'll let you adjust that over there.
Yeah. Again, I keep telling you, I can't see where I'm going. I had the screen the wrong way, I couldn't see. All right, so I'm going to go inside here, and I'm going to just do just so lightly on the inside of this. A little inner printing, like there was some print of an inner label. Right here.
Ooh. So it shows.
So just a nice little orange in there. And another place I might like to put my orange is right in the center here in a little medallion. Isn't that nice? Now you can be done right now, or if you want to, you can write some words in your label.
Sorry, I was on the close-up camera there. I had to just make a couple changes to our Q&A.
Did you? Are we late?
Well, we had it set for 12:30, and I bumped it back to 1, so in about half an hour.
Oh, okay.
So it'll give you...
I don't know that I don't have that the YouTube Google thing.
Oh, at 1?
I think it's a 3. It is a 3. Never mind. We're okay.
You're okay.
So I'm going to write something in here, right? I'm going to write something in my label. You can write anything that you want. You can write anything that you want. I'm choosing to write happy birthday. You could write your family's name. You could write peace. You could write lots of things. There we go. How do you like that? What do you guys think of that?
Ooh, that's looking pretty good.
Isn't that pretty nice?
Yeah.
So that is just a simple pass of talking about glass or painting things that we see through, that are translucent, that are see-through. What are we really painting? We're painting reflections. We're painting what we're always painting, lights and darks, tones and shades and hues, tints, all the time. It's all we're ever doing. Even though it seems like smoke, it's glass, or it's juice. But it's not, is it?
No.
This orange, same thing as that and that.
Yep, I just pushed the wrong button there. I almost brought up the little...
How do you guys love it? I like this one better than my original. Plus, look.
I'll pull that down. There you go.
Did I spell I didn't spell happy birthday right.
Oh. and Bonnie wanted to let you know that a bunch of people went out and tweeted him happy birthday.
And then I don't even spell it right.
There you go.
There we go. Fix it.
You got it in there.
I got it in there. I just needed a D. Birthday. There we go. Now it's kind of right. So, this is why I don't make signs for a living. My mom did for a little while, but this is why I don't. This is one thing where she's got me hands down. What?
Just,
Sorry.
Yep.
Is it them too? Did they get it too?
They get it too.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how that happens. I just moved.
There's
a leash. There's a bad cable. It's not my fault.
I'm going to fix it. We now know where it's at. I was chasing that earlier today. And for all of you who just had your ears hurt, I'm so sorry. We're going to fix that.
Sorry. Thank you for letting Clive know we wished him a happy birthday. And I can't be there. He's far, far away. But there's his happy birthday mimosa, which was sort of my plan. And I was like, such a weird friend to have. I'm going to see you guys in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
A little bit. And we're going to do a Q&A about the website, The Quest. And I have some happy mail.
That's right.
See you with Easel really, really soon.
See you guys.
Happy birthday, Clive.
Love you
You're never going to see this message at the end of the video, but happy birthday. Bye.
Bye.